All right.
Alrighty, here we go. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Lone Star Show. We finally have a game in the books. Unfortunately, it is a loss. We'll talk about it. Dallas Cowboy fan 1980 here. I'm Space Cowboy. Got the power, got the smarts, old school, new school, all coming together. Let's go ahead and get straight into this. Cowboys come up short in a pretty contested game against a pretty good opponent in Los Angeles. They fall 20-17 at the last minute. Before we get into the entire our thoughts on stuff, let's go through some statistics and stuff like that to kind of give you a sense of how this game actually went. So if we're looking at individual statistics, Dak Prescott had a solid game, but not an outer worldly game. 25 for 39. 266 yards and a touchdown. He was sacked 3 times for 22 yards, and he had a passer rating of 92.5. As for Los Angeles, Jared Goff was 20 for 31, 275, threw an interception, got sacked only once, and had a passer rating of 79.4. When it comes to rushing, the Cowboys... they did their thing. It was a pretty even matchup when you start looking at these statistics. I mean, the Cowboys, Ezekiel Elliott almost had a 100-yard day, 22 for 96 and a touchdown. And then you look...
Yeah, receiving yards, too.
Yes, and we'll get to that. Because he actually had 100 total scrimmage yards, obviously. And then as for Los Angeles, they had Malcolm Brown lead the way with 18 carries for 79 yards and 2 touchdowns. We go to the receiving core. Amari Cooper led the way with 10 receptions for 81 yards, no touchdowns. CeeDee Lamb had an interesting game, to say the least.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, 5 receptions for 59 yards. He had the longest play from scrimmage from the passing game with 33 yards, which, again, not bad for a rookie debut for someone that has a lot of people in that entire room. Then Ezekiel Elliott catching the only passing touchdown of the Cowboys offense. And then we look at the Los Angeles receiving core. Robert Woods led the way with 6 receptions, 105 yards. And there really wasn't anyone else close. And we look at the Dallas Cowboys defense and LA defense. Aldon Smith led the way with total tackles alongside Jalen Smith with so 11 total tackles for both of them, while Aldon Smith had 6 solo tackles and a sack and tackle for loss. Meanwhile, Jalen Smith had just 5 solo tackles and a pass deflection. And also, I should put an interesting note here that Aldon Smith had 2 QB hits alongside Joe Thomas as the only guys to really hit Goff. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ball with LA, Jordan Fuller led the way with 8 total tackles, 5 solo, and a couple pass deflections. There were 7 quarterback hits on Dak Prescott. So that's something to keep in mind. And then Chidobe Awuzie with the interception today. So got to give him props for that. You know, he turned his head around. He made a play on the ball. So good on that. And then CeeDee Lamb with an interesting punt return. I mean, he looked very explosive. And then this is Greg Zuerlein was 1 for 2 for the day. He hit a 33-yard field goal. He hit both of his extra points. And LA's kicker went 2 for 3. So the kickers really didn't have that great of a day. I mean, Greg Zuerlein, he missed a long field goal. It wasn't like he missed a chip shot, but I do feel more confident with him. But still, we shouldn't be taking these long field. But I don't want to get through all those stats and crap. But I think more importantly, 1980, we were talking about this before the show. The team stats. I think that was the more important thing, right?
Right.
So your time of possession, right? That's what we always talk about. You need to control the time of possession. The Cowboys lost that battle by 11 minutes.
Yeah.
The Rams held the ball for 35 minutes and 38 seconds. Meanwhile, the Dallas Cowboys held the ball for 24 minutes and 22 seconds. Interestingly enough, both the Cowboys and the Rams had the same amount of offensive possessions, just about. The Cowboys had 1 less with 10 compared to the Rams' 11. Both teams had solid amounts of yardage. I mean, the Rams outgained the Cowboys 422 to 380. I mean, when you start looking at the stat sheet, it looks like a very even matchup. So I'm not, like, as I look for, and we'll talk about this, as I look more into it, I'm not super upset the Cowboys. I mean, I really pissed that they lost, but, like, I'm not enraged because it's a team that actually did what they were supposed to do. we talked about that. Like, we were supposed to stop them from doing these certain things. I mean, the Cowboys had more first downs than the Rams. They had 14 passing first downs. They had 9 rushing first downs. I mean, I don't want to bore you guys with statistics, but I think penalties. The Cowboys led in penalties. Seven penalties to 5 penalties. Yeah, and then I mean, if we even look at it, the Cowboys had a more effective rushing attack than the Rams. The Cowboys only rushed the ball 27 times and had 5 yards, which we'll get into that. And also, both teams got in the red zone not as often. I mean, the Cowboys had 4 red zone trips, and the Rams had 5. But
what was our percentage in the red zone?
50% compared to the Rams, like 40%.
That's not bad, I guess.
It's not horrible, but we will talk about that. And I think the final thing to go over was let me see, just want to make sure I got everything. Yeah, I'm not going to go over any much more. I mean, the teams were very much identical on the stat sheet.
I'm looking at it. It does kind of look similar.
Yeah. So with that out of the way, and so now that's all recapped, let's actually talk about this game. I know 1980 went live last night. He gave his whole thoughts on the game. Do you want to recap your thoughts really quick, my man?
Well, I want to thank you for having me. Well, it's our show, so I guess thank you for having each other.
Yes.
Lone Star Show, guys. We'll be doing this every week after the game. I did run my mouth a lot yesterday. I had Space Cowboy on right at the end of my halftime. I almost forgot. I was running my mouth so much. I almost forgot about the halftime spiel. But we got a little bit of Space Cowboy right at the end there, which helped a lot. We went into the half 14-3. That didn't matter because it's 0-0. I feel pretty much the same. Now that all the smoke is clear and all the dust has settled, I still feel the same about yesterday's game. I feel we were not prepared. It looked like, now, as much as we wanted Garrett gone, we wanted him out of here. We wanted a change. Marinelli, all those guys. Linehan, we want Chris Rashad. We wanted all those guys gone. We wanted a makeover, and we got it. We got it, with the exception of Kellen Moore and, Leon Leck, whatever. But we got it. But it still looked like Garrett's team. So I know it's just one game, and I'm going to beat everybody saying that today. But the same mistakes were made. You just talked about it, the penalties. And I say it over and over again. I sound like a broken record. I wish I can shut myself up, but they always prove me right. Penalties will beat you faster than the other team. And that's what happened early on. We just started getting those penalties, and the tone was set right then and there. I had a good feeling before the game started. I was like, okay, we even talked about this. Everybody did. Cowboys look great on paper. We look good. Making all the videos during preseason, during training camp. With everybody getting their head pumped up. Oh, we're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're a better team on paper physically than the Rams. We thought that we were going to come. We thought that we were going to come in here, and we had so many weapons. We had CeeDee Lamb, all those, the receiver, Gallup, Dak, Zeke, Pollard. We never went deep. We got all the speed. We got speedy receivers. Gallup had Ramsey beat, but he flopped and everything. Well, we'll get to that later, but had him beat. But we didn't take chances. They did, but we didn't. I think that's what it's all about. I think it's taking those chances. You can have a brand new coaching staff, but if you're not willing to sacrifice and take those chances, maybe they'll start after today. After yesterday's game. But my thoughts haven't changed a bit. So moving on, I guess. Uh-oh. Mute.
There we go. My apologies. I'm just trying not to be rude, but yeah. So I went on Twitter right after the game to kind of give my thoughts, and my thoughts really haven't changed as well. So this is kind of my thought process. What happened during the game? Early in the game, the Cowboys, defensively speaking, did not look good at all. There was no pass rush. There was no pushback from the interior of the defensive line to stop the run. I mean, Dontari Poe was not on the field when he really should have been. And the Rams were doing the exact same plays. They were doing the bootlegs that got them to the Super Bowl not too long ago. They were able to run the ball effectively early in the game. And by the time the Cowboys really clamped them up, and I said this up at halftime, the Cowboys were able to kind of turn that around a bit. But here's my thing. There was a couple things I saw offensively and defensively that I think the Cowboys did well and didn't do well. Offensively speaking, the Cowboys pass game looked very efficient. Okay, that's the number one thing. Did it look flashy? Not really. I mean, there was a lot of intermediate to short passes, which I wish we took a bit more deep shots. I think we should have. But then again, we were moving the ball down the field effectively. There was a lot of run after the catch that we saw from CeeDee Lamb. I think what the thing was with Cooper, he was catching a lot of short passes and stuff like that. But again, if you're moving the ball effectively down the field methodically and it's working, I don't see a problem with that. The running game with Zeke, there were times where I'm like, why are we running the ball on first down when it's like you're putting yourself – this is the problem. When we were running the ball on first down, there were plays where it's like, wow, it actually does work because we're getting the pushback. And it looked like the Cowboys were doing very well on both sides of the offensive side of the ball. Like, they were passing well and they were running effectively. Zeke was being used in the passing game. Tony Pollard was on 14%, took part in 14% of the offensive snaps. While that's an improvement from the previous administration. We saw a lot more Tony Pollard. He was explosive like we saw him. But when it came to the decision-making, and I know a lot of people said it does look like the same, which, yes, because you have Kellen Moore as your offensive coordinator, my thought process was this. For me, look, they went pretty much pass-heavy in this game, as it's indicated, in terms of the stat sheet, which I don't mind. I think that's what you have to do in this day and age. You had to be able to pass the ball effectively. And we saw that they were able to run the ball effectively in certain instances other than the first down calls. Interesting note, every time the Cowboys ran on first down, they had to punt sequentially after. All four of the which led to punts, and that is not good. Right. But I just want people to understand that it's week one. And obviously we have to critique what we see, right? The defense did not look good, especially the linebackers and the safeties. I will give this, the corners did play pretty well. I mean, the corners did play well in terms of turning around and playing the ball in some instances. Listen, Trevon Diggs, that deep ball he got beat on, that was a very damn good pass. I mean, he played it perfectly.
He was there. He actually tipped the ball. He was there. He actually got a piece of the ball. But it was a good throw. It was a good athletic play. And like you said, good pass.
Right. And my whole thing is like a lot of people look at the decision making. There were some decisions that I liked and some that I didn't like. So, for example, the first down runs. That is something that the Cowboys. I'm not saying they had to be predictable and throw the ball every down on first down. I mean, statistically speaking, you're supposed to do that. But honestly, there were first down runs that they got effective yardage out of and made it in shorter distances, which fine. That's okay. Now, I know a lot of people were questioning the fourth down decision. But here's my thing, right? And this is the thing that kind of bugged me a bit last night. Some people complained we were being way too conservative with the last coach we had. And then we take this chance and people are like, oh, he went way too aggressive. Here's my thing, right? If you paid attention to the last couple drives, the Cowboys didn't get that close to the red zone ever again. So, again, hindsight's 20/20. I'm not saying, like, we don't know what would have happened even if the Cowboys scored a touchdown on that drive. But my whole thing is this, right? Analytically speaking, and I know a lot of people hate talking about analytics, but I'm just telling people this is the thing we invested in, like the whole mindset of analytics that we were looking forward to. Analytically speaking, there is a 73% chance you're going to convert that down in distance at that yardage. Yeah. And the Cowboys would have. I mean, it was a great defensive play by the Rams, and CeeDee Lamb he went way too shallow on his route, okay? Yeah. And, I mean, ultimately, am I upset with this outcome? Yeah, we lost, but for the first game, no preseason against an opponent which was pretty much both teams were pretty much doing the exact same thing, other than the Cowboys not getting to the quarterback as often as the Rams were. I really did like what I see. So I really don't want people to make it seem that I'm fully satisfied with what I saw, because ultimately putting up 17 points is not satisfactory. Okay, with the offensive potential you have, you should be able to convert more and get some more points.
Right.
I do believe that kicking the 53-yard field goal, you should not have done that. I personally believe they should have punted. I'm not a big fan of the long distance field goals because you give them a shorter field to work with. And I mean, ultimately, it's the first week of the season. We all want to see the Cowboys win. But if you're the superstitious type, and I'll end on this note for my whole soliloquy, this is if you don't like the blue jerseys and believe in that curse, this is the only time the Cowboys are wearing the blue jerseys, the navy jerseys. Also, another fun fact, the Cowboys in the past however many years, when they have, the past 4 years, whenever they have lost their the opener for the season, they went on to go win the division and get to the playoffs. So, again, guys, it's the first week, but that doesn't mean that we are satisfied with what has been done. So I mean, me personally, my mantra is RELAX, relax. We have 15 more games to go, but let's just hope this isn't a track record. Right. You know what I mean? So
that's what we don't want to see. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I mean, that pretty much closes out my soliloquy. So I think we need to let's start talking about some of these situational certain things that came about during the game.
Before we go there, if you don't want to hear anything bad about the Cowboys, if you're one of those fans out there that don't want to hear anything bad about the Cowboys, you might as well turn it off right now because we're going to talk about the bad things. We have to. It's our job. We got to figure out. Trust me, that's what the coaching staff is doing right now with the Cowboys. They are trying to talk about, okay, we lost this game, but we got to figure out. Even the Rams, their coach is like, hey, we won this game, but we got to work on this and work on that. So if you kind of weak at heart, might as well go ahead and turn us off right now.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and let's start with the offense. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. So the bad. I guess we'll start with the bad. Offensive line. They looked pretty bad. The interior of the offensive line, specifically with Joe Looney and Connor Williams, and also right tackle Terrence Steele, they did not look so good. I mean, you gave up that many, and we'll get to that question momentarily about the Rams being a Super Bowl favorite. But I just didn't like what the offensive line did. I mean, Tyron Smith actually did pretty well in this game, shockingly. There were some moments where he did cause some penalties, and I was pissed. But, again, there were moments where Zach Martin didn't look impressive. But ultimately, the weak link on the offensive line was Terrence Steele. He got picked on the entire night. Dak Prescott was forced to get the ball out. Like, there was some plays where I felt like he was trying to get the ball downfield, and he couldn't. And that is a problem. I really felt like, and now Cameron Irving, he got hurt in a special teams situation with, I think it was an extra point he got hurt on. That's a problem. Now, me personally, I think the Cowboys have to reevaluate this offensive line going into week 2.
Right.
I'm not saying they have to do a massive reshuffle. I mean, think about it. Tyler Biadasz, the only reason we saw him out on the football field last night was because Connor Williams lost his shoe. And to be honest with you, in his first play, it didn't really look so good. Granted, it was at guard, so... but yeah, what are your thoughts, man?
Offense, like we said earlier, they looked a little different. They moved the ball. They executed. Now, did it help? No, because we didn't win the game.
Right.
I like to win every game. I said last night in my stream, the first thing that came out of my mouth was, I don't want to hear relax. I don't want to hear, this is the first game of the season. Nothing against you. All due respect to you, Space Cowboy. But I have to take every game. I don't take any game lightly. Because, see, we didn't have a preseason to get prepared for this. We all came into this season blindfolded. Nobody knew what was going to happen. None of us knew what was going to take place yesterday. You get what I'm saying? I like to win every single game. And I'm pissed if we lose the first game. Now, did we look better offensively? I thought we moved the ball pretty efficiently. I thought the run game was okay. I thought it was pretty good. Zeke almost had 100 yards. I thought they went away from some things, but the Rams saw to it that we went away from things because the clock management. We didn't have time. You notice how fast that game went by? It went by really fast because we didn't have the ball. They had the ball the whole damn game pretty much. You get what I'm saying? So we didn't have time. And then when the offense finally got out there to do something, Like after halftime, when we got the ball back, we were supposed to execute up the field and score again. That didn't happen. You get what I'm saying? I look up, next thing you know, before I can even get good back in the living room with the big screen, we're punting. And I'm like, God damn it, what happened? So they just had our number. We were out-coached and outplayed last night. And everything that everybody was against me about in the offseason, all with the jerseys with the blank numbers on them, Mike McCarthy with the vanilla press conferences, hiding everything. None of that worked last night. We're talking about last night. I don't care about next week. I don't care about 3, 4, 5 weeks down the line. We're analyzing game by game. That's what we do. I'm not talking about the Atlanta Falcons. Space Cowboys not talking about the Atlanta Falcons. We're talking about the Rams, the Cowboys and the Rams from last night. And what we saw and what we were critiquing it and analyzing or whatever. But offense looked good. Offensive line was horrible. It was horrible. Connor Williams did look pretty good, though. I can say that. He looked pretty good. We're missing Lyle Collins, and we just don't have that push. They were just pushing us back, and Dak didn't have a lot of time. And we just kind of went away from some things. It wasn't consistent, and the Rams forced us to go away from things. They had a good game plan on both sides of the ball, and that's where the out coaching goes in at. Everything that we saw in training camp, the one-handed grabs and all that stuff, and hot dogging and stuff, we didn't see that. I don't even want to go to defense yet. We'll go to defense in a minute. But I thought overall, the offense did pretty good. They just didn't do it when we needed them to. Right at the end there, it was too late, fourth quarter. When you brought up when they went for it, I'm going to honestly say I thought they should have kicked the field goal. Everybody's opinion is different. We come in this world alone, we leave this world alone. So everybody's opinion is different. I thought we should have kicked the field goal. That would have tied it up, kicked off, give our defense another shot. They haven't been stopping anybody all night, but maybe they just get some grow a sack and, finally stop somebody. But, it is what it is, man. It wasn't a good game for us. And I know it's the first game of the season, but I just thought we need to go to the air more. Dak Prescott needs to sometimes, if you don't see anything, man, take out. It's okay to run. It's okay to run. He was just kind of, it felt like he was in a grid. It felt like he was in a grid and he was just kind of stuck there and staying there, and I don't know if it was the containment of the defense. And it's easy for us to say. It's easy for us to get on here and say, hey, man, just throw it down. He may see something and we don't, because we're not out there on the field. They may be covering over the top. They may be double teamed. We don't see that. Hell, the camera's already close up anyway, so we can't see no crowd. So, we're not out there playing, so we can only say that to a certain extent, because if you go back and watch film, we'd be like, oh, okay, well, shit, that's why he wasn't throwing it deep, because hell, they had 2 safeties back there, helping out, over the top, deep third, seam the flats, so it just they got to figure something out on offense, man, real fast, because defense too, but we'll get there. So
yeah, and kind of just to wrap up my thoughts on the offense. Again, the offense in terms of the passing game, it's kind of what I want. I mean, there wasn't really a whole lot that needed to change from last year other than maybe a couple situational changes, which I did see in some instances. Right. There were still some sprinkles of the previous coach where it was the running on first down. But I do want to make it clear that, again, with the fourth down call, me in 1980, probably, we disagree because I feel like you should have gone for it, which is fine. You know what? Because we both have a rationale behind it, right? Because I can understand it. If you kick the field goal, you tie up the game, and then you have a chance of going to overtime. And again, hindsight is 20/20 because we don't know what could have happened after that.
But I get what you were saying about the part. That was I like that.
And exactly, and that's kind of what my philosophy is listen, you're on the 11-yard line, and you kind of set up a 4th and short. And honestly, I felt like if you were eventually going to go for it on 4th down, I felt like you had a better shot at just passing the ball twice than running the ball on that 3rd down. Because honestly, then apparently it's the reason they did that was because there was I guess they liked what they saw in the box. But to be honest with you, I mean, I don't know. I'll have to go back and look at it in depth. But again, that 4th down call, I felt like when you look back on it, I felt like that was the right decision to make because ultimately, I mean, CeeDee Lamb, if he just ran his route a little bit more deeper, or not even that far, he would have gotten the first down, and odds are the Cowboys score on that drive. I mean, it wasn't like the
I agree. I'm sorry. I agree.
Go ahead.
I agree with you when you said CeeDee Lamb wasn't aware of his route. I think he should have went a little further than he was.
Yeah. Right, and I think that was what I think the play was designed to do, was he was just going to catch it and he was just going to lean over and get the first down on him. He was trying to do that, but I do want to mention it was a really damn good play by the safety on I forget. It was a really damn good play. So again, I'm not satisfied of how we lost by no means, because I felt like you could have done a lot better, but ultimately I do think that the Cowboys on offense, they really need to fix up that offensive line, and I think they're going to need to redo a little bit of some things with the passing game. I think they need to go deeper more. You need to let Dak throw deep. We've been talking about this for years, and I think that Dak, he had his thing. Like, he had the one deep pass he really had. I mean, there was a couple passes where he did throw deep, with the run after the catch, but ultimately, the only deep ball he had was to Michael Gallup, where he caught it. And honestly, I felt like the Cowboys would have won the game if and I was pissed. Listen, and we can get pissed at that, but ultimately, I'm not sure how you feel about this on 1980, but this is my personal thought process. If the game comes down to that, then you shouldn't. The game shouldn't come down to that. That's what I'm trying to get at. The game should not come down to the refs being in the hands of. Yes, I disagree with the call. Jalen Ramsey is probably the actor of the year for this year. Yeah, but again, I think the Cowboys, they had 2 more drives after that 4th down call. So they should have been able to muster something in those last 2 drives, and that, in my opinion, that kind of solidifies the decision to either go. Well, my opinion, it solidifies the decision to go for it, because odds are I don't know if you would have gotten to the end zone to win the game. But then again, you can argue, well, it kind of solidifies you kicking the field goal, because then you're going to a tie game. So
I felt like our offense should have gone out more because our defense wasn't doing anything. They were little. Besides the gutsy going forward on 4th down, which I did like too, but it just didn't. Right. That's what pissed me off about it. Because if you're gonna go for it on 4th down, you better damn sure make sure it works. Especially when you're losing. You get what I'm saying? So you got to make sure it worked. But my thing is, they should have been a little bit more aggressive. The running game was working. It was working with Zeke. Yeah, man. Why do they go away here? Once again, they're going away from things. Stop it, man. Mm-hmm. If it's working, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right. Fixing. I didn't see a lot of play action.
There wasn't.
They weren't trying. I mean, they probably were, but to us, it seemed like they weren't. You know what I'm saying? But like I say, I guess I got to say, well, it's the first, just for the offense, it's the first game of the season, and we got to shake the cobwebs off, and everybody's got to get used to each other. But it just looks so 25-year-ish. You know what I mean?
Right. I get what you're saying. And then, unfortunately, we did lose Blake Jarwin to injury. He is I believe it is confirmed he's done for the season with a torn ACL, and it was non-contact either, which sucks even more. It sucks because I really thought he was going to have a breakout year this year. And to be honest with you, the Cowboys definitely are going to need to pick someone up at tight end. Dalton Schultz, I do not trust as my number 1 tight end. So I think that there are guys like Delaney Walker, Charles Clay out there that I think the Cowboys should give a call to. And again, we're not asking for these guys to be all pros. We're just asking for them to fill in, catch the ball.
Cooper was pretty consistent.
Right. On the road. I know a lot of people get on him for not doing well on the road, but he was pretty consistent.
They were killing Ramsey, man. Somebody just said in the comment section.
Yeah.
Killing Ramsey, dog. Cooper was, when it was 3rd down, Cooper was getting that first. He was moving the chain, man. So.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and let's move over to the defensive side of the ball, because this was probably the one that I was really pissed off with, especially early on in the game. And I already alluded to this earlier in the show, the Cowboys' run defense looked like it looked worse than it did last year. And again, you can peg that up with the Rams having fantastic coaching. You can peg that up with their offensive line playing better, which I would agree with.
They were.
But again, there were a couple question marks they had. Don Terry Poe was not out there, and when he finally got in there, the Rams offense was not as consistent in running the ball. I mean, still they got their yardage, but the points still stand. They were doing the same thing on that opening drive. Bootleg play action to the same side of the field, running the ball. It looked they were doing what I thought we should have done. We should have just, not that running the ball part, but being able to impose your will. They did that early. They got an opening drive touchdown, and they were able to kind of like peg themselves. And someone said this in the comments section, and I agree with them. The Cowboys did not manage third down very well in terms of putting themselves in certain situations. But the Rams, they did so well on first and second down that the third downs that they had to manage, they weren't as bad. But a thing I also need to allude to, because the defensive line, I felt like, started to pick up as the game went on. Not as much as I would want them to in terms of the pass rush, but like the run stuffing, the run defense looked a bit better. I still am kind of upset that the pass rush, like Aldon Smith was the best defensive player on the defensive line out there. And keep in mind, I did predict he was going to get the first sack of the season, and he did. So I was right on that, I guess. But the linebackers, Jalen Smith didn't look good, unfortunately. And Leighton Vander Esch is out with a broken collarbone for 8 weeks. And I'm sorry, I'm going to just be honest. He did not look that great in the limited time we saw him. And you can argue that, it's just getting set into the game. But still, like, I just didn't like what I was seeing from him. So now we have another Sean Lee 2.0 type of thing, to where now we're going to have to probably get a linebacker early next year's draft. But that's way down the line. We'll see how the season goes before we make that judgment. And finally, to wrap it up before I toss it over to 1980, the secondary. Corners played well at some instances. I think, there are other instances where I wasn't impressed, but ultimately I did see somewhat of an improvement, but that's not excusing the play of us giving up those points and how we gave up all that yardage. They were turning their heads around. Cheeto got a pick. I just liked what I saw from our corners a bit. As for the safeties, that was the weakest link. We talk about the linebacker. Darian Thompson got cooked. He did. He was missing tackles. He didn't look impressive at all. I mean, there was one play where he could have had a tackle for a loss. Didn't get it. There was another play where he could have tackled, I think it was Robert Wood, number 11, to get, stop him there, and he managed to let him go.
Yeah.
But otherwise, very disappointed in this defense. I think Mike Nolan needs to really look at what he has and fix something up. And I think the Cowboys might have to end up possibly look at adding another defensive tackle, or adding, me personally, if you're looking at two defensive guys, I think you might have to look at adding a guy like there's Clay Matthews. I'm not sure how he would look in this defense. I don't know. And then safety-wise, you got guys like, I think it was Tony Jefferson, Eric Reed, Earl Thomas. I'm not saying you get any specifically one of those guys, but those are options you might have to look at if you really want to get someone. So I think I've gone on for long enough. 1980, what were your thoughts on the defense?
I love your point of view about the defense. I agree 100%. There's a couple of things that I'm going to say different, which I'm not saying I disagree with you, but just a little different. Before we talk defense, we have to talk, or even offense. This team is lacking discipline, and that's with the penalties, and that's with missed tackles. I saw so many missed tackles that the guy was in the backfield and we could have stopped him for a loss, let him go. We still can't tackle. Let me start with the defensive line. Who was our starters? We had D-Law. Crawford was the other No, not Crawford. Alden Smith.
It was Alden Smith, in no particular order, by the way. Right. On the edges, it was Alden Smith and DeMarcus Lawrence, and on the interior, it was Tyrone Crawford, and I think it was Tristan Hill.
Situational twist, Tristan Hill. Crawford, I don't know. I don't even know if he was out there. D-Law had one tackle. He's the highest paid guy. He had one tackle. Our best player, probably our best player on the whole defense, was Alden Smith. He was everywhere. And he'd been out of the league for 5 years. and he was our best player. Does that add up? Is that even really? I mean, the only person that's I'm not comparing him to Jordan or anything, but Jordan retired back in the day and came back, and Steve Kerr was like, "Hey man, Scotty, what do we do? Do we start Jordan or what? What do we do?" And Scotty was like, "Man, if you got your statue in front of the damn stadium, and hell, you gonna start? That's Jordan, man. What are you talking about?" But anyway, he was our best player. He was the only guy that was going after the ball, around the ball the whole time. The defensive line was just, without him, it was horrible. It was horrible. They were getting pushed back. The Rams had an awesome offensive line. I mean, we didn't touch Jared Goff until the fourth quarter, and that was an accidental sack. It wasn't even like really on purpose. He just happened to be there, like, oh shit, he's right here. Let me sack him. I mean, it was crazy, man. Linebackers. That was an accident waiting to happen. Even before Van Der Esch got hurt, they were all over the place. When I saw the starting lineup, when they were introducing the starting lineup, and we was running that same old 4-2-5, I thought, oh, we're in trouble. But I get why they were running that, because of the Rams' offensive, the offensive setup, because they like to run a lot of trips, formations, and motions and stuff like that, and they want to have enough speed out there to cover that, to negate that. So it's cool, I get it. But I knew it was in trouble, And they nickel and dimed up the field, and they did what they had to do. They punked us. They just punked us. We couldn't tackle. We couldn't wrap up. Still those fundamentals that we need to work on. Fundamentals. I didn't even watch that damn that boring-ass press conference today, because I'm not watching any more press conference. I don't give a damn. This is a press conference right here. You get what I'm saying? Everybody should be watching this. When that alert come on your phone or your radio or whatever, it should be the Lone Star Show with Space Cowboy 17 and Dallas Cowboy Fan 1980, because they're not going to talk about that. They're not going to admit to their mistakes. They're not going to admit to their fuck-ups, because it was horrible. We were outplayed and outcoached on both sides of the ball. Linebacker, we already know Jalen Smith was everywhere. How many tackles? I don't even know how many tackles he had, but they weren't in the best position to make plays anyway. So, because it was only two damn linebackers out there. So once again, the Rams have forced our team to do something that we didn't want to do. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Everybody was looking for that. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to add, because the Lunatic said this in the comments section, and I was actually going to echo this because he just jogged my memory. The thing is that the Rams were able to get the ball out really quickly. And that's why, I mean, still, the pass rush should still be able to get, not in those situations, it's hard to do that. Right. But I think a point we need to recognize, I'm not saying you didn't recognize this, but I think we should, everyone should know, the Rams were able to get the ball out quickly, so that's why we weren't able to get to the quarterback as quickly. And I believe if we were able to stop that earlier in the game, that would have led to more success. Just think about this, 1980. When we were able to get pressure on Jared Goff, what happened? He almost threw he threw one interception because of a pressure, and then
was that the third or fourth quarter?
Yeah, and then there was another one where Trevon Diggs nearly intercepted it, and that was when we got pressure on him. Right. And that's the thing. Like, we see if we can get pressure, this can lead to turnovers. It literally happened in a single instance during this night.
But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm going to end. Sorry, I'm going to end on this note. The fact of the matter was the Rams were able to do their thing, get the ball out quickly to prevent there to be an issue with the pass rush, and I think Sean McVay knew that. Sean McVay looked at our defensive line and was like, hey, they got a bunch of studs at pass rusher. If we can get the ball out quickly and run the ball effectively, I think we don't have to deal with them as much, and that's exactly what happened. So that's a point we need to recognize, and that not just us, but everyone else in total. So go on, my man. Sorry about that.
Exactly. Yeah. You're exactly right. A good point to bring up. It was just poor execution and lack of, and you can put anything behind lack of that you want to. It existed last night with this defense. So defensive line wasn't where we wanted them to be. Linebackers weren't where we wanted them to be. Like you said, Van Der Esch is out for the season. Probably going to be out for the season. Is his collarbone or something like that. So. I don't know. It's just, it's a mess. And secondary. I thought they played okay. Being the last line of defense, I thought they played okay. I thought Diggs, being a rookie in his first game, seeing some action, people were, take Diggs out. No. Don't take him out. Keep him in there, because he needs to be beat. He needs to get beat so he can learn from it. You don't just take anybody out. I heard that so much yesterday. in the comment sections. Take Diggs out. No, keep him in there because he's a good athletic corner. And once he gets it, see, Deion got burnt back in the day. His rookie year, first year, he got burnt back in the day. But see, look what he turned into, the greatest cover corner of all time. You get what I'm saying? Rod Woodson got burnt back in the day. But look what he turned into. Darryl Green, Chris Dishman, Charles Woodson, all of them got beat. But you got to leave them out there, especially when they have potential like Diggs. He was right there. It wasn't like he got beat by a mile like Cheeto did last season. He was right there. And it was just a good throw, good play good concentration on the ball by the receiver. He got his hand on it, but just didn't have enough force or whatever. And couldn't, he turned around, but he just kind of, so we all saw that. We get it. Get him next time. Safeties, actually, Xavier Woods he was one of the leading tacklers yesterday on the team. He did okay. He was in the mix. He's okay. If you want to look it up, you can. But I saw him a lot around the ball. They brought him up a lot in the box. A lot of people didn't notice that, but I did. He wasn't perfect. He wasn't a Ronnie Lott or a Darren Woodson or anything, but he was okay. But we need better than okay because okay gets you 0-1 starting the season. You get what I'm saying? So Cheeto with the interception. Well, I'm gonna call it an interception. It wasn't a pick. He didn't even know he had it. He was like, "Oh shit, He's like, "Oh damn, I got the ball." If you go back and look, he turned around just in time, and he was like, "Oh shit, I got the ball." So it was like by accident, another defensive play by accident.
That's what happens when you turn your head around.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, "Oh, I turned my head around. Oh, I got the ball." So another play. I'm not gonna take his props away from him. I'm glad he got the pick. But did it help? No. You get what I'm saying? When you do, right. when we make plays like that, it's good to make them, but they have to help us in the long run. It didn't. None of that worked because everybody wasn't on the same page. The two most important positions didn't show up yesterday, and that's the offensive line who runs both sides of the ball and the defensive line. It's a domino effect. Everybody was talking about Earl. Since I'm still, the last thing I'm gonna say about the secondary. Everybody's talking about sign Earl. Our defense is based off the front seven. Earl don't play defensive end. He don't play defensive tackle. Earl wouldn't have helped us yesterday. I'm sorry, he just wouldn't have. We would have still lost that game yesterday if Earl Thomas was a Dallas Cowboy. Trust me, because we got too many problems up front. Secondary is the last line of defense. You get what I'm saying? Now, okay, they could have brought him up in the box. Okay, well, we don't know that yet. We'll find that out if they sign Earl or whomever. But I don't know. We got a lot of work to do on both sides, right, of the defense and everything. So go ahead.
Real quick, because people were asking who was the leading tackler on David. Now, if we're talking about total tackles, it was a tie between Alden Smith and Jalen Smith. But if you're talking solo tackles, interestingly enough, it was Darian Thompson who was the leading solo tackler. And listen, if your safety is your leading tackler, that is a problem.
That's a problem.
That is a problem. And again, listen, I understand that. Oh, well, how can you get mad at Darian Thompson for missing tackles if he was the leading tackler? Because he has to make a play when it's there. Just because it doesn't matter. Dude, it doesn't matter where you are on the football field. If you do not make a play, you're going to screw the entire team. I'm just being completely honest. So I look at this game. I look at what we have, and there's DJ Crown J in the chat box. What's going on, brother? Hope you're having a, good time. I don't know how you enjoyed the game. He was probably pissed, but
DJ, was mad, boy.
He's like, man, nah. But anyways,
that's my boy.
Yeah, man. Hopefully everything's well with him, my guy. But yeah, anyways, real quick. You're good. If you want to, feel free to drop your questions down in the chat box below. We'll go ahead and answer them for about 10-15 minutes, and then we'll close this thing out because I think we pretty much covered everything for this specific game. Right. So I guess from my closing statement regarding the defense, a lot of work to do. But I guess more so with the team. There was a thing on Twitter where it was like, if you could describe your team season in one word, what would it be? I chose the word transition because I've already mentioned that this season was going to be a weird season because we didn't know. Like, on paper, I do believe the Cowboys can do well. But again, I said this before the season began. It's all about, can they put the pieces together. Right now, I can see it happening, but we got to wait and see. But it's a transition year. Even if we go 9-7, 10-6, we win the division. Okay, I mean, it's a stepping stone because you did better from last year. But if we go like 8-8, 7-9, that's a problem. And then let's see. What's to say? Let's not forget to mention the 3 points that were scored in the entire second half. Dak goes 10 for 21 with only. That's another thing too. Is like the second half was a
time of possession.
Right. So really quickly, let me go ahead and check who's in the chat boxes because I was just looking at 1980s chat box. Mosh, what's going on in my chat box? Hopefully you're doing good.
Mosh in the house.
Yeah. Let's see. Yes. Cowboys fan talk. My guy's space. Appreciate the shout out, bro. No problem, man. For those that don't know who I'm talking about, Dallas Cowboy. Cowboy fan talk is just a recent starting YouTuber. He's about 500 subscribers. I really do love his content. Bro, if you want to, you can go ahead and put your link to your channel. I made you a mod, so you can do that. But yeah, again, feel free to drop your questions down below. I'm just trying to see, was there anybody else? Let's see. There was, just a fan talk. And excuse me, Mosh goes like, I'm the longest Dallas Cowboy video streamer besides Shango on YouTube. That is true. He's been around for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
The Lunatic says, also congrats to Zeke. He surpassed Tony Dorsett for most games with 1+ rushing touchdown and 1+ receiving touchdown in Cowboys history with 6.
D Lunatic's a smart dude, man. Like,
I did not know that.
Yeah, he's a really smart guy. Seriously, D Lunatic. He's been a faithful follower of mine, man. He's been around a minute. He really needs his own channel.
Yeah, I'm like, he'll be in my chat and he'll give me these little nuggets of information. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. We got Mike in the chat from Cowboys Corner. Once again, if you guys could please make sure to check out his channel. Got some good stuff over there. He does the Frisco Report with Joe Rod from Cowboys Blog. Really damn good show. So make sure to check that out. Again, feel free to drop your questions down below. I see a couple right now. But please make sure to do that. We got the Lunatic with the first question. He says, question, how do you feel about Terrence Steele for next week? I'm not really as confident, if I'm being completely honest. However, I don't know what our options are, right? I know what our options are, obviously, but I'm just saying, I don't know what the Cowboys' approach is going to be.
They know what our options are, though.
Yeah. But again, I think ultimately we just need to get through these next 2 games and get Lyle back. And hopefully
we got to get back on track, really.
Right.
The next game, we gotta capitalize. We got to get back on track because it can get out of hand. We started the season 0-2 when we talked about offline with Emmitt Smith with the 93 Cowboys, but we won a Super Bowl. So it's not impossible. But, I just like to win games.
You don't want to peg yourself in a corner.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be in a corner. I don't want to be 0-3 or 0-4 trying to crawl back out. And when we last in the NFC East and everything, we were supposed to win our game yesterday. And the Eagles lost. The Redskins won. They came back. And everybody was saying, oh, it's just the first week, 1980. Don't worry. It's just the first week. Well, shit, it was the first week for Washington Redskins. They won their game.
Right.
So I wanted to win ours. You think Coach Mike McCarthy said, "Hey guys, to please the fans, to babysit grown folk feelings. It's just the first week, guys. Don't go out here and play hard."
Right. No, I feel you on that.
You don't want 1980 to start cussing at the screen and talking shit. It's just the first week, guys. Relax. You think McCarthy said that? Hell no, man. They wanted to go out there and win. Right. I'm being honest, man. Everybody getting
No, you're good.
Everybody's getting mad at me. Oh, 1980, calm down. No, man, tell them to calm down, man. They the one that lost. Shit.
No, man, it's listen, I don't know what the plan's going to be. I think they might roll with Terrence Steele next week, but to be honest with you, I think you might have to go with Brandon Knight. I feel a lot more confident with Brandon Knight and this exposure I saw from him last year than with Terrence Steele. But then again, I don't know what the plan's going to be. We'll probably find out as we get closer to game time versus Atlanta. Assist Fayez XYT asks question, do the Cowboys need to trade for a corner? No, I don't think so. I think if you're going to trade for someone in the secondary, probably a safety. But honestly, I don't think they need to make that move. I think we're fine.
I agree. I think our secondary is okay. Honestly, I do. First game of the season, like y'all say, first game of the season. Now, because I remember losing games in high school, college, different levels. I remember losing games and coach putting you on blast. Like, hey, man, what was this? You missed a tackle here. They put you on blast. Today was a film day. Trust me. For the Dallas Cowboys, today was a film day. After a loss, especially after a loss, today was a film day. They was in that film room, and they were going over everything, every fuck up. Okay, where was this guy? Oh, offsides. Oh, encroachment. Oh, wait on the ball. Watch the ball. If you don't know the count, watch the damn ball. Wrap up. All the fundamental things. Film day is fundamentals. It goes back, and they embarrass you. Hopefully they got embarrassed. Hopefully they got embarrassed in that damn film room because they needed to.
Right. I got a question in my chat from Moses the Hype God. He says, how do you feel about the penalties and Connor Williams guarding Donald last night? I know I talked about what's up?
I thought Connor Williams did okay. I thought
he did all right. He did all right. Like I know I talked about it early in the show. I wasn't pleased with what he did, but I will tell you this. He did pretty well for the situation he was in. I felt like it was more so with Joe Looney that I was worried with, and it looked like a repeat of the playoff game. Joe Looney was getting really beat up by Aaron Donald and that interior of the Rams defensive line. That's just my honest opinion, but I do think Connor Williams, he had his moments where it didn't look good, but I felt like he held his own given the situation. I think that the biggest question marks I had were Joe Looney not looking so hot in many instances, or most of the instances, I should say, and Terrence Steele. But that's just honestly my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So let me see. Let's see.
I'm looking at this play now. The big catch by Michael Gallup over Ramsey. I'm looking at it, playing a replay over and over and over, and they're both tugging on each other. They're both going back. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that penalty shouldn't have been called. They were both going back and forth at each other. And I think when he realized he was beat, that's when he started flopping a little bit. It's just crazy, man.
Right. I'm just scrolling through the chat.
I think Dak needs to run more too.
I agree. I think
when he ran that long play and almost scored, I think he needs to take matters into his own. He needs to trust himself and take matters into his own hands and start running the ball more.
Derek Grimesley asks, "Hey guys, do y'all think we'll get this corrected? We'll correct all these things. I don't think you're going to correct every single thing. Your odds are you're not. But I will tell you, I think the Cowboys will not be as sloppy next week as they were. Well, I hope. But I do think ultimately, if history serves right, the Cowboys really should be fine next week. But again, nothing's a guarantee. There's no guarantee that the secondary gets better. There's no guarantee that the offense looks as good as last week. I can't guarantee you that. But if I were to tell you, when will things hit peak efficiency? Given the circumstances, and I said this to 1980 in our first show, you might see the first 4 weeks be very rough. And I said if the Cowboys can come out of this with a 2-2 record or 3-1 record, cool. But right now, I think that you're gonna have to wait 4 weeks to see how these iron out these wrinkles and stuff like that.
I agree, and we did discuss that. You're right, we did discuss that. We said these are going to be. I even said it myself on videos, previously. Damn, what was I saying? I'm sorry, shit. Yeah, but I agree with you.
I got you.
I agree. But yeah, these first games are going to be preseason games.
Oh yeah.
So we just got to work. We just got to iron out the kinks, man. We just got to iron out the kinks.
Let's see. Cowboy Fan Talk has a question in my chat. How do you guys feel about the fact we continue to be predictable on first and second downs with Zeke runs? I did not like that. I think for me, I'm not sure if you were watching us earlier, Cowboy Fan Talk, but I did say this. I said, I do understand that, I'm a very analytical person when it comes to football and making football decisions, but I can tell you this. Theoretically, you're supposed to pass the ball on every single down because you have a higher chance of getting more yardage than a first down run. But for the most part, you don't do that, obviously. Right. But I do think that
those are just to break down odds.
Right. It's all about odds and just determining, okay, do I want to do this or this? But to be honest with you, The thing that rubbed me the wrong way would be, okay, if you pass on first down and you set up a short distance and you run the ball, cool. But for me, it was when we ran the ball and we got nothing out of it because we weren't blocking properly or something happened is when things started going downhill. So I think there was a mix of things, right? There was a mix of things regarding the whole offensive line not blocking well. Someone just said play action. Play action was a huge thing. The reason the Rams were so effective running the ball was because they were able to do a ton of play action. Effectively. Like, listen, you can run play action every single damn play. That's not going to make it effective. But that's the thing. Every single play, it was either you saw it was going to be a run or it was going to be a. I mean, there were a couple times where that wasn't the case. But ultimately, and I'll let you go after this, I do think that the Cowboys need to fix their efficiency there. So
right, I agree. Let me go back to what I was going to say earlier. I know these first games are preseason games, but I would like to win them. You know,
right.
You know what I mean? I would love to win them. We can still win them, even though they're preseason games. You know, because we didn't have a preseason. I would like to win them. But yeah, I agree 100%, man. I agree 100%.
And then we'll take two more questions and we'll close this thing out. Drew, question: when does your coach take back play calling? He's not gonna. No. He's not. I don't know. What is he? An Eagles fan? He's been a faithful follower of mine. He's a good guy. He's a diehard Eagles fan. You know. He'll say a lot of things that might offend people, but me and him, we go back. I mean, hey, it's fun it's fun. Listen, I do that with people in real life all the time. We just do the fun trash talk, but it's whatever. But no, I don't think Mike McCarthy. I mean, then again, I don't know about the Eagles, but I thought you guys don't have an offensive coordinator, so how's that working out?
I think I didn't have a problem with the play calling last night. I thought it was okay. I didn't, you know, the first play of the game was a pass. It was a complete pass to Amari Cooper, I believe.
Right, it was a slam.
So we were moving the ball. We got the stats to prove it. Dak almost had 300 yards, you know. We were moving the ball effectively, but when we needed it right at the end, we couldn't progress. You know, it just wasn't, it was too little too late. We were in a bad position. The LA Rams had already won time of possession, and they had already set the tone for the game early. And they set the tone for the whole game pretty much, especially towards the end. They just controlled us, and they just out-thought us, you know.
Right. So we're going to do a dual question here. So I'm going to give you one from Cowboys Fan Talk in my chat, and I'll take one from your chat. Right. Cowboys Fan Talk, he's asking a question specifically for you. How do you feel about Diggs? Do you think he was overly aggressive, or do you like his play since you have the DB expertise?
I like Diggs. There's nothing wrong. He's still young. He has a lot of learning to do. He has to realize that he already knows that he's already being coached that the ball is your friend. He's already being coached to turn his head. He's doing everything right. That ball was just thrown perfectly. It was just thrown perfectly. And that has a lot to do with the defensive line allowing him to throw the ball perfectly. But back to Diggs, nothing wrong with Diggs. He's going to be a great corner in this league. And if he just keeps it up, they got to keep him out there. Don't make any changes. Keep him out. He's got to learn. Remember learning how to swim back in the day? They just pushed you in the water, you know. And if you want to live, you're gonna swim. You get what I'm saying? So just let him swim. Let him go through these things. This was a good. Last night was a good embarrassment. It was a good wake up call. Because the expectations were so high for the Dallas Cowboys. Everybody thought we looked good on paper. Even us as fans. We thought we were the better team on paper. All riding everybody's nutsacks all through camp. You get what I'm saying? So
right.
We got our asses whooped. We got our asses whooped in every way. Yeah, it was a close game, 20-17. But the way we lost was the problem. That's what I was pissed off about. It was the way we lost. They outplayed us. They outmanned us. They outplayed us. They were doing, like you said earlier, Space Cowboy, they were doing the same thing to the flats over and over and over again. And we couldn't do nothing to stop it. We didn't adjust to it at all because we didn't have the personnel for it. We just didn't. And Earl Thomas wouldn't have helped us yesterday. I'm sorry.
Right.
Seven was horrible.
And then I'll take the final question. We'll wrap this thing up, and we'll move on to the Falcons game later in the week. Question. Mike Nolan said he would be more aggressive on defense. Did you see that last night? If I'm being completely honest, I did see a bit more aggressiveness. There were a lot more blitzes than I would usually see on the Cowboys defense. Did that help us in instances? No. I mean, there were some instances where the blitzes didn't work. There were some where it did, but for the most part, the blitzes were not effective. They were aggressive, but they were aggressive. I felt like they were just being aggressive in wrong. If this makes any sense, right?
Right.
Like, you shouldn't wait till third down to blitz. Blitzing should be on any down. I get it. Primarily, it should be on third down, but
tell Lawrence, go back in the day and tell Lawrence Taylor to blitz on third down. See what happens.
Yeah, right. Listen, you gotta put the pedal to the metal. I think that the biggest thing for me is be more aggressive on the other downs. First down and second down, you shouldn't be afraid to blitz. I mean, either way, when you blitz, you're taking a chance. There were all those chances for the most part didn't work, but I think that's what's going to happen. I like that there was a bit more aggressiveness, but I think we need to be more effective with that aggressiveness, if that makes any sense.
There you go. Perfect. I love, just like the fourth down thing that we, kind of not really disagreed on, but, just had a different opinion on it. It was good to be aggressive, but you got to execute it. There's no reason you can't throw a punch at Mike Tyson and miss, because guess what? If you miss, it's a wrap. He gonna knock you out.
Yeah, right.
You get what I'm saying? That's right. A perfect analogy. If you're gonna throw that punch, if you're gonna hit that gorilla in the mouth, you hit like Jimmy Johnson. You hit him with everything you got. Everything you got. You can't miss. And the Dallas Cowboys were missing on both sides of the field last night.
Right. So I think that pretty much wraps it up for our whole talk on the Rams game. Listen, man. Right now I'm looking at the game. The Giants are winning 10-3. I think that there's a doubleheader Monday Night Football.
That's right.
Yeah, but again, listen, I'm just going to say quick. I think the Cowboys really need to be careful because Washington looks very much improved, like I thought they would be, and the Giants look like they were very improved, like I said before the season began. I didn't expect them to beat Philadelphia, and I didn't expect Philadelphia to fall off the cliff as quick as they did. But with that being said, this wraps up week 1 for our coverage with the Lone Star Show. We're definitely going to go ahead and move past this. We talked about what we had to talk about. We see what we got to be done. Ultimately, it's on to Atlanta. Atlanta's not going to be an easy challenge, my friends. Atlanta has a really damn good offense. I can see us beating Atlanta, but
don't say that.
But odds are now we're not. We're not going to beat Atlanta now. We're going to go.
No, I'm not saying.
I'm just joking. I'm just saying Atlanta's going to be tough for us. It's not going to be an easy challenge. Atlanta has a high-powered offense, and that defense looks scary at some point. So, with that being said, I think that just about does it. If you're in 1980s chat, feel free to sub up to me, Space Cowboy 17. If you guys haven't done so, please make sure to make sure to subscribe to both of our channels, and hit the notification bell. If you're in my chat, head over to the 1980s channel, go sub up to him, and make sure you don't miss this. Again, we do this twice a week. And we try to do a pregame and postgame at some point, and we do a halftime spill to give our thoughts. So again, if you guys enjoy the stuff, please make sure to stick around. There's plenty more coming. So yeah, that pretty much does it. So I hope you guys had a fantastic, hope you guys had a great night. And we'll see you guys Friday or Saturday. So have a good one, guys.
Thanks, everybody.